civic body has called for feedback from the public over redrawing the map of Mumbai's wards. This just ahead of the civic body polls in the city, which is going to take place in a few weeks from now. BJP and SP have objected to the ruling Shiv Sena and Mumbai Civic Corporation redrawing the city's political map. Opposition alleges that the boundaries have been redrawn to unfairly favor Shiv Sena ahead of the upcoming elections. Congress, on the other hand, has set up a panel to examine the demarcation. As per the new map, Mumbai now has a total of 236 BMC wards, 9 of which are entirely new.
Whenever demarcation is done, it is done on the basis of the ruling party who was sitting in the corporation. When last time, 2017, it was done, that time BJP was in the helm of the affairs, and I took up the objections for 45 wards, which they tried to, done in such a way that helped them. But now, when the demarcation is done, when I went through the maps and all that, I saw that, in some places, the wards have been split. Now, each administrative ward has to be a single ward, the political ward. Now, if you see in R Central and R South, they have split the ward in such a way that the 50% of the ward are going in R Central and 50 is going in R South. Same happens in G South and E ward. So I think that is totally unjustified. Because what happens, when a councillor has to work, he can't go in 2 wards, no? He has to sit and work in one particular ward. So this discrepancy is there. So we have formed a committee, Congress party has formed a committee, and we are going to study this. And wherever necessary, we will definitely take the objection and give our suggestion to the BMC and to the Election Commission.
Let me go across to my colleague Disha for more on this. Disha, as we have seen, there's already, of course, a lot of political buzz and political reactions which have come in on this. But essentially, the fact that this is happening very close to the BMC elections is something which the opposition is riled up about.
Well, definitely, as we all know that we are expecting the Mumbai civic polls to happen, in the coming weeks, maybe in the next 1 or 2 months. And before that, the ruling party of the BMC always decides whether there should be new wards added to the existing number of wards or not. So here, the Shiv Sena is ruling the BMC for the last 5 years. And now what we understand that existing wards are 227. So based on the population, the ruling party felt that there is a need to increase 9 more wards in the city, taking it to total 236. Now what has happened yesterday, the BMC released the draft of the 236 wards. The map of the 236 wards, and they have kept this link open. Even the citizens like you and me can go easily on the site and see. And if there is any suggestion or objection, then we do have time till 14th of February to give that out. So now what opposition is really doing at this point, after seeing the map, they feel that the administrative wards have been split up, which should not be the case, and they have been split up in such a manner that it may benefit Shiv Sena in the future when the civic polls do really come up. There should be only one councillor per ward is what the opposition parties are saying, but here the administrative wards have been split up in such a way that there would be 2 councillors reporting in 1 ward itself. So that is something which is unjustified, is what the opposition leaders are saying at this point. But however, it has been kept open for objections and suggestions. In fact, the Congress party and the BMC have already formed a committee to study this entire map and to give their objections or suggestions, if any, before 14th of Feb this year.
That's right, Disha. Thank you so much for joining us with that. I'm also joined on the broadcast by Mr. Mahesh Tapase of the NCP. Thank you for sparing your time, sir. But what we want to first take your reaction is that, of course, all the political parties, the opposition parties and the BMC per se, although you might be allies otherwise in the MVA government, of course, they are of the opinion that this is a very unfair move just ahead of the elections. Is that the main contention? Have you had any sort of a dialogue with Shiv Sena on this matter? Because Shiv Sena might be calling this a completely apolitical action. But that does not seem to be the case as far as opposition members are concerned, in the BMC specifically.
Let me tell you and all viewers that in this year of 2022-23, we'll be having elections to major municipal corporations across Maharashtra. It is not only BMC, it is also KDMC, it's also Thane, it's also Bhiwandi, it's also Ulhasnagar Corporation in the MMR region, which is going for elections. And delimitation of constituency has also happened in these areas. So new ward system has come, the existing ward system has been scrapped. And this is a decision was taken a year back by the Maharashtra cabinet to have a multi-member panel as far as the electoral ward is concerned. And these wards, the redrawing of the wards, the boundary fixation is done by the election commission. And anybody has any objection to it or he would want to make any suggestion to it, he's free to make it till the 14th of February, not only in BMC but across all wards and all municipal corporations whose boundary has been redrawn. So there is no motive to benefit one particular political party. The entire exercise has been carried out by the Election Commission of India through the CEO of Maharashtra Election Commission.
Right. Mr. Tapase, thank you so much for joining us on this, but please stay with us. I'm also joined by Mr. Atul Bhatkalkar of the BJP on this. Sir, what we have in fact seen is there's some sort of, justification which has been given by the Shiv Sena on this entire matter, by the BMC rather on this entire matter. But what we have in fact seen is that the BJP, of course, believes that this is an exercise which has been done directly to benefit the ruling party in the BMC. In this case, of course, the Shiv Sena. If that is the point, have you... In a way, there are a lot of opposition parties who might be thinking that way. We are in fact joined by Mr. Mahesh Tapase of the NCP as well. Is there any dialogue with which you are having with opposition members also on this matter?
Yeah, today only we are already going to take meeting of our all BJP corporators. At the same time, we have time up to 14th February for filing suggestion objections regarding the new Prabhat Rachana. And so we are working on it. At prima facie, we some mistakes and some intended mistakes has done by the corporation's election department. And so we are going to raise our concern, our suggestion, objections. And not only BJP, for Mr. Tapase's information, even Congress also tried foul regarding the today's demarcation of all corporation wards. And so in coming time, we will voice our concern with the Election Commission, and I have full faith in Election Commission, and they will give us justice. And though Shiv Sena is trying to change wards, creating new booths, but they should keep in mind, whatever they do, this time only and only BJP will get full majority on our own in ensuing BMC election.
Leaving aside the last part, Mr. Mahesh Tapase, are you also of the opinion that maybe there should be some sort of a coordinated move in terms of this particular, if that is an issue that opposition members are all agreeing to, would you be writing to the EC as well on this matter?
This is a very local election, and the suggestion objection has to be taken either by a sitting councillor or an aspirant to the councillor or to the post of the municipal councillor. So because they are the ones who actually know the boundary specification as far as what has been added and what has been excluded. So I agree with Mr. Atul Bhatkalkar that there some political parties may have a reservation. And this is a time for suggestion and objection has been given. And it's not only BMC, it's across all the other municipal corporations where the boundaries have been redrawn. That 14th of February is the time when people, even a normal citizen who's not a politician, but if he wants to have any suggestion, objection to the proposed redrawing of the constituencies, he can definitely put in a suggestion. There is nothing wrong in that. So it might please a few, it might anger a few, but ultimately what Election Commission does after receiving all the so-called suggestion and objection, and when they print the final, this is a draft boundary demarcation. So once the final boundary demarcation comes, then we'll see. Ultimately, it's up to the electorate whom they want to elect. They want to elect Shiv Sena, they want to elect BJP, they want to elect us, or they want to elect the Congress. It totally depends upon the electorate.
Right. Mr. Mahesh Tapase and Mr. Atul Bhatkalkar, thank you so much for joining us with your opinion and your views on this story that we are following closely here on Mirror Now.